The Complete Guide to Lina, the Idol of Kirenos. Hey guys, so we're back with another guide. For those of you who are looking for a skill build and imprints, I'll be putting a timestamp in the comments for that. Also, I want to thank Reiatsu for providing additional information, as my personal experience with the class was somewhat lacking. Before we talk about her active skills, let's quickly look at her passive skills. Lina has two passive skills: Weakness Detector and Combustion Control. Weakness Detector gives you 42% crit damage, whereas Combustion Control gives you Overheat Gauge obtainment increased by 6 and Fire Element increased by 100. So as you can probably see, Lina is quite strong from her passives alone. Let's take a look at her active skills. Do note, I will be presenting her skills in chronological order according to the skill tree. Lina's skills are different in that they only go all the way up to level 4. With each level you get a different effect. So with Turbo Attack you get, at level 2, attack speed and movement speed. You get Super Armor at level 3. And at level 4 you get an iframe. Moving on to Lina's bread and butter skill, Horizon Slash. This skill can only be activated by right clicking, but you have to use a skill. So that would mean using a basic attack and then right click, then you can activate Horizon Slash. Or use a skill and right click right after to use Horizon Slash. Looking at the skills, at level 2, when the attack hits successfully, damage increases by 100%, crit rate increases by 50%, and attack speed increases by 25% for 8 seconds based on 5 stacks. At level 3, jolts an opponent for 0.25 seconds if hit successfully, regardless of monster's grade. At level 4, when you use Horizon Slash, reduces the damage you will get by 50% for 5 seconds. Next, we got Heat Flip. Looking at the skills, at level 2, you get 2 additional attacks. At level 3, the cooldown of the skill is reduced by 2 seconds. And at level 4, you get an iframe while attacking. Flame Dash. Now this can be used in 2 ways. One is using directional keys to move forward, backwards, or any direction that you want. Another way to use it is to not press any directional keys at all, as it will go back and forth. Looking at the skills, at level 2, cooldown will be reduced by 2 seconds. At level 3, you will get an iframe while attacking. And at level 4, it will store up attacks. Flame Turned, a skill that you need to aim. At level 2, you're given 20% cooldown reduction when Horizon Slash is used. At level 3, it increases your attack power by 50%. At level 4, damage is increased by 100%. Overheat, a skill that empowers Lina. It will charge up over time, and the buff will give you 20% critical damage, 5% movement speed, and 50 fire elemental increase. At level 2 though, it will give you additional hits on all slash related skills. At level 3, Overheat Gauge will increase by 4 every 1.5 seconds. And at level 4, Overheat buff reinforcement 2 times the original figures. So basically what it means is that when you max this out, you're gonna do a lot of damage. Hell's Sweep. Now, this is one of the skills you'll be using to gather your enemies. Looking at the skills, at level 2, Dragon Range is increased by 25%. At level 3, generates a whirlwind of flames, and opponents hit by this flame will lose their fire resistance, stacking up to 50 times. And at level 4, the damage will be increased by 100%. Blazing Stampede. Now this skill acts like Hell Sweep in that it drags in enemies, but this is a little bit different as you jump into the air and you have way more movement speed, and it's a bit more flexible skill. Looking at what you get when leveling it up, at level 2 you get Dragon Range increased by 40%. At level 3 it generates a Flame Floor which decreases your opponent's fire resistance. It stacks up to 50 times, and at level 4 damage is increased by 100%. Now as you can see, it's pretty similar to Hell Sweep. Only difference is that instead of the Flame Ring, then it's a Flame Floor. So it's pretty much the same in a way. Combustive Severance. Looking at the skills, at level 2, the cooldown is decreased by 10 seconds. At level 3, attack power is increased by 50% when overheat buff is active. And at level 4, damage is increased by 100%. Flare Slash. It has 2 different animations, and it all depends if you use overheat or not. This is without overheat. And this is with overheat. Now, if you look at the skills, at level 2 you will gain an iframe while attacking. At level 3, attack power increases by 50% when using overheat. And at level 4, damage is increased by 100%. Breakout Gash. Now this skill has a very similar effect to Flare Slash. They share almost the same characteristics. This is without overheat, and this is with overheat. Taking a look at the skills, you actually get 20% more damage when using overheat. But at level 2, you gain an iframe. At level 3, you gain 50% attack power when overheat buff is active. And at level 4, damage is increased by 100%. Blaze Strike. At level 2, the cooldown is decreased by 60 seconds. At level 3, all cooldowns are reset, except for Blaze Strike, Overheat, and Horizon Slash. And at level 4, damage is increased by 100%. That was it. That was all the active skills. Now let's talk about skill build and imprints. Now I know a lot of you might just watch this video for only this, so yeah, let's get into it. So taking a look at the build, it is fairly simple. You just max out whatever skills that you use the most and then leave out the rest. Now if you have premium and you can use overclock, you pretty much have just one skill left out that you can't really level up. Now it is entirely up to you which skill that should be, but I would recommend the skill build that I'm showing here. You could do it differently, but this is just what I go with. But there are many different ways to build her, so try to find out what works for you and take it from there. I bet a lot of you have been waiting for this. We're going to look at imprints. Now, imprints are fairly simple for her. I would say just pick what you think is the most fun, but there are some differences. Now, do keep in mind that anything is just up to preference, and if you like playing a certain imprint set as opposed to something else, then just stick to it. It might not be the most optimal, but it will definitely be what is the most fun for you, and that is what is important. Okay, so I will be only mentioning the imprints that I think are the most effective, and I'm gonna start out with the middle row. This is focusing a lot around your Horizon Slash ability, and it will change its animation completely. And it will have a cooldown and not be spammable, so keep that in mind. You will also change the animation of Combustive Severance. And not only that, this imprint is really the best if you have 100% critical. If not, then you might not see the full extent of how much damage you can do with it. So the next imprint we're going to be looking at is the bottom imprints. This will change the animation of your flame torrent completely. It will also help reducing the cooldown of Flare Slash and Breakout Gash by 2 seconds whenever you hit your Horizon Slash. Now do keep in mind it also enhances your Overheat ability. So there's one final imprint page, and no, it's not top row, it's kind of different. Now this is a tip that I got from Doukie, so credits to him for this. So basically what you're gonna do is that you take 2 middle and then 1 bottom. Now what this will do is basically that you're able to spam your Horizon Slash skill, and not only that, it is empowered by the 2 middle imprints. This will also make it so that with the 1 bottom imprint, you will basically be able to spam your spear. So that means that Flame Torrent will be spammable for the most part. So now that we've been through the build and the imprints, I want to give my own opinion about the class. I personally think she's really great. She's fairly simple in that she uses slash, she's fire, and that's pretty much it. Like, you know what you need to build on her, and there's nothing where you need to be confused. Not only that, her playstyle is fairly simple. There's not a lot of different hidden mechanics, very straightforward, and thus the learning curve is, you know, quite steady. There isn't really a high ceiling. Obviously, you need to master, like, you know, her combos, but that should be fairly easy over time. I don't feel like she's the most difficult, and I think she's like the perfect beginner class if you're starting out with the game. I would definitely recommend her. Now, as for my personal enjoyment with playing her, out of a scale from 1 to 10, I would definitely give her a 7. Now, the reason why I give her a 7 is because Lina, as a class, is very unique, and what she does, she just does really well. But personally, I like the Blade Dancer. So, because the playstyles are a little bit different, I can't quite put it up there. But if you're asking, is she strong? Hell yeah, she is strong. Like, if you're in doubt if she's strong or not, I think you should try to look at some gameplay videos around YouTube. You might have your mind changed if you think she's weak. But yeah, I think that was it. I hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you next time.